Hello everyone. So today we will be talking about random forests. It is one of the very important algorithms which gives lot of accuracy. Actually, random forests is kind of a modification of bagging. Okay, further modification of bagging. So that's why we studied bagging yesterday first. What did we study in bagging? We have multiple trees and constructed from the bootstrap samples, and we take average prediction or model prediction given by all those trees. That is what we do in bagging. And we said that the variance reduces, hence the error reduces, but we also mentioned that it doesn't reduce as same as in IID case. So in general, if my xi's are identically distributed but correlated, okay, so if my xi's are identically distributed but correlated, what would be the variance of x bar? What would be the variance of x bar? Variance of x bar I can write as variance of 1 upon n sum over I going from 1 to n xi. This would be 1 upon n square variance of summation xi I going from 1 to n. So this would be 1 upon n square. Variance of summation xi would be summation variances of xi, okay, summation of individual variances plus sum over I less than j 2 times covariance of xi xj, correct? So this becomes 1 upon n square n times sigma square, suppose variance of x is sigma square x, then n times sigma square x plus 2 times, how many pairs do I have? I less than j, n into n minus 1 by 2, okay, covariance of xi xj. So my 2 gets cancelled, so I am left with one of the n's will also get cancelled, so I am left with sigma square x upon n plus n minus 1 upon n covariance of xi xj, okay. This is the variance of x bar if my xi's are not independent. In fact, they are not uncorrelated also, they are correlated. So if my covariance xi xj is positive, then my variance of x bar becomes larger than the IID setup variance. This is the IID setup variance. So if my covariance is positive, my variance increases. So what we are doing in bagging? We have B trees. The predictions are, suppose yi hat 1 for ith observation, okay, yi hat 2 up to yi hat b. Then we defined final yi hat as 1 upon b sum over j going from 1 to b yi hat j, okay. So variance of this prediction would be variance of individual prediction, so variance of yi hat 1, let us say, plus b minus, so this upon b plus b minus 1 upon b covariance of yi hat 1 comma yi hat 2, okay. So if I want to reduce this variance, if I want to reduce the error in prediction, because if variance of the prediction is high, it means my error in prediction is high, confidence interval is going to be wide. So if I want to reduce this, I need to reduce this. So I need to reduce correlation between the predicted values. So if I want to reduce correlation between the predicted values, that means I need to reduce correlation between the trees. Now the original question was, why are the trees correlated? Because they are grown mostly on the same data, only the part of the data is different, and they are grown using same variables, okay. So what can I do? See, if I take partial data, then yes, up to some extent I can reduce the correlation. But the problem is, as soon as I use partial data for each tree, I am changing the size of the data, and we know that affects the test error, okay. That's why we said that simple validation error is not good. We go for k-fold cross validation because we want the size of my model, the size of my training data to be as close to the actual data. So what can we change in such a scenario? We can maybe change variables. Now I have limited variables x1, x2, xp. How can I change them? I can't really change them. So what do? You say that instead of using all of them, let us use some of them at every stage. So what do? So we start with the same thing. So I have B bootstrap samples. Okay, so this part is common in bagging and random forest. I have B bootstrap samples. But normally what happens is, if I use that entire bootstrap sample and all the variables, generally my tree would be more or less same, because suppose say x3 is very important. Then in most of the trees, x3 would decide the first split. Okay, if x3 is very important. Similarly, in most of the trees, the variables that are used would be common, and that would create a lot of correlation. So what are we going to do? Instead of using all the variables and then choosing the optimal split, what we will do is, at every split, I would first choose m variables randomly, and I would let the algorithm to choose optimal split only from these m variables, not from all the variables. Okay, let me repeat what I am trying to say. Normally in a tree, what happens, you have a node and you want to construct a split. So you have a choice that the splitting criterion can depend on any of these x1, x2, xp. This is a normal tree, and this is what you do in bagging also. But in random forest, what we are going to do, instead of using all, we would say I first choose m variables from here randomly. So let them be x2, x5, x8 and so on. Okay, suppose xp minus 1 is the last one. So these are m variables chosen randomly out of these p variables. And then we say that at this point, my split has to depend only on one of these. So I would kind of consider that I have only these variables, and if I have only these variables, then what would my split be on the basis of these variables? Only those many splits would be considered and the optimal split would be chosen. Then at the next node, you again randomly draw m variables from the original sets, and out of those m, you choose the best split. So at every node, so let me write what I have been trying to say. At every node, randomly select m variables out of the p variables, okay. At every node, randomly select m variables out of p variables, and the optimal splitting criterion for that node would be chosen out of these m variables only, would be chosen from these selected m variables only. Okay, remember, I am not using same m variables for all the trees, or in fact even for a single tree I am not fixing those variables. Even in a single tree, at every node I am choosing the variables randomly. I am choosing m new variables randomly, I am deciding the split, I am moving on to the next node where I again choose the m variables randomly. Is it okay? And of course m has to be less than p, because I am choosing m variables out of p. Okay, so this is what random forest does. So basically it is called as forest because it involves multiple trees. But unlike bagging, you don't use all the variables at every point. You use m variables where m is less than or equal to p. Okay, so m equal to p in random forest actually gives you bagging. Okay, so bagging is a special case of random forest with M equal to P. So what is the reason for going from bagging to random forest? To reduce the correlatedness of trees, which kind of increases the error. Okay. Now what is the optimal choice of M? See, the thing is, if M is large, then large means close to P. If M is close to P, then strength of each individual tree is quite high. Okay, because you are kind of using almost all the variables. So of course, the more variables you use, the better would be your results. So strength of each individual tree is high, and as a result, the average prediction is also good. Okay, so this means that average prediction is also good, or it improves. But at the same time, if M is very close to P, correlation is also high. And if correlation is high, it means variance is high. So error is high. So we need to find some sort of optimal M. Okay, some sort of optimal M. So some general choices of M are square root P, or P by 3, or P by 2. These are some of the common choices for M. Okay. And so we can't have too high M, and of course we can't have too low M, because if you have too low M, correlation would be low. That part would be good. But the strength of the individual tree would be too low, and hence the average strength would also not be that great. Okay. So optimal choice of M is a concern. Sometimes people choose optimal N via cross validation. Means you try different values of M, plot your validation error, and see at what point you get some sort of optimal error. Okay, because M kind of decides flexibility of the model. So you get a U-shaped curve. So somewhere here you will have a minimum that would be your optimal value of M. Is it okay? So this is how a random forest works. So random forest is not a very difficult thing to understand. Conceptually, it's very intuitive and appealing. And one point I would like to mention is random forest was invented by a person named Bryman, who is actually a core probabilist. He is a very theoretical probabilist. But he ended up inventing an algorithm which is now used very widely. Okay. So if you have a very strong knowledge of theory, that is going to help you a lot in the long run to develop your own algorithms. Okay. That's why don't ignore courses like real analysis or probability theory or things like that. Okay, they teach you a lot. So this is how random forest works. We have already seen how bagging works, and we have seen now that bagging is a special case of random forest. One of the important use of bagging or random forest is you can compute something called as variable importance measure. What do I mean by that? I can decide what is the importance of each variable via this. So what do? You have B trees. So consider x1 suppose. So in each tree record the decrease in error sum of squares. Record the decrease in error sum of squares at the splits which involve x1. Okay. In each tree, record the decrease in error sum of squares at the splits involving x1. So, using B trees, you can kind of compute average decrease in error sum of squares due to x1 over entire thing, means over B trees. Okay, you can compute average decrease in error sum of squares due to splits based on x1, and higher the decrease, better would be the variable, means more important would be the variable. If splits based on that variable lead to a significant decrease in error sum of squares, then that is a good variable. So you do this, you compute this for every variable, let us say x1, x2, x3 and so on, and you plot it via generally some sort of horizontal bar graph. Okay, of course most of the softwares arrange them in either decreasing or increasing format. I am not doing that. So you can plot some sort of average decrease in error sum of squares. So that gives you variable importance. Okay, so the variable for which the decrease is very high is most important. The variable for which decrease is very low is the least important. Okay, so this is how you measure variable importance via bagging or random forest. So what you have to remember, so random forest is a collection of trees, hence the name forest, and instead of using all p variables as in bagging, we use m variables where m is generally root p or p by 2 or p by 3, something like that. Okay, and you can choose m via cross validation, that is possible. Okay, when we did this election data analysis, our results for Maharashtra were actually good via random forest. In fact, that's why we told, when the newspapers interviewed us, we did tell this, that the results via random forest are good. And of course their next question was, what is a random forest? Because you know, the name sounds appealing, name sounds easy to understand, and the technique is, now that you have seen, quite intuitive, quite easy to understand. Okay, so let me stop here. Thank you.